Oh my goodness me, GameLeapers. Are Riot Games finally putting some sort of range cap on Trinity Force? This could be it. What's going on, guys? This is Coach Cheeks, and I know recently we've talked about how patch 13.14, we've done some videos on it in regards to like the Aatrox changes. There are some other changes as well that we were kind of aware of, so like Volibear getting a nerf through his W and some items getting changed as well. But here we have like the full listed changes, and we're going to get into these in this video. Tomorrow, hopefully Riot release the actual notes, and again we will make another video detailing all of the actual real changes that will affect all of us come next patch. But guys, if you actually want to improve at this game, GameLeap.com. Our challenger players and coaches from across the world upload daily videos for you. We have thousands of subscribers who are frothing the content. So to get exclusive access, in other words, to actually climb and get good at this game, check out the links down below in the description and comment section. Right, let's get into the changes for 13.14. We'll start with champion buff. So we'll go in order here. The first of these is Aatrox, and we actually kind of know what these are. So your Q's damage is just getting increased. And for those skilled Aatrox players out there with your sweet spot Q damage, this is going to be really big, especially later in a game, because I'm pretty sure they're buffing the AD ratio of this. And again, we will confirm what these changes are in tomorrow's video. But Aatrox is the first champion. Next up, we have Diana. Diana, whether you're playing her in the jungle or in the mid lane, she can still clear really well in the jungle. She's still like a decent damage dealer in the mid lane. But as far as actually both of those roles go, she's kind of just like average at both of them and doesn't excel at one of them. So maybe Riot can buff her in both roles, but it is true that she is underperforming at the moment. And I think Diana being included here is completely fine. Next up, staying kind of in the mid lane, we have Lissandra, and Lissandra is getting more buffs. Now, Lissandra got buffed recently, especially like the Q's actual range here. This was really good for Lissandra players. Also, Lissandra is good at the moment because LeBlanc is getting picked a lot, right, with Static Shiv and how she operates, or will she be picked a lot after this? We'll have to see. But yeah, Lissandra like really isn't too bad, so I'm surprised they're putting her on here. Don't really have a problem with it though, because Lissandra really, you have to pick her as a counter pick. As a blind pick, it's very hard just to like pick her because there's so many champions that do well against her, right? But again, I don't really see why this is bad, so we'll have to wait and see until tomorrow to see what the changes actually are. Now, a champion that was kind of close to my heart, this being Shaco, they're buffing the attack damage version of Shaco. Now, honestly, he didn't actually need it, because if you were going Stride Breaker into Berserker's Grease, into Blade of the Rune King, bro, it's one of the most broken builds in the game, and that setup in every single elo on Shaco has been really OP. And in this patch, spoiler alert here, by the way, the Stride Breaker isn't getting nerfed. So Stride Breaker is still going to give you 60 attack damage. So buffing AD Shaco, they have to be a little bit risky. But maybe this is buffing him in terms of like crit Shaco, maybe, because obviously Stride Breaker isn't important for that. So it might be something to do with this. Maybe they're just giving him like some sort of AD ratio. I have no idea what it's going to be, but AD Shaco being here again, I can kind of see why. Now, next up, I'm pretty sure the Balance team would have watched JMO play Shyvana, because Shyvana is here too. This champion in the jungle is just so one-dimensional, probably the most one-dimensional jungler of all time, because, you know, before level 6, what can you even do? And especially if you have late-game champions on your team, you're going to get stomped, especially by players who know what's up. So Shyvana being here, I think this is fine as well. Then we also have Volibear. Now, the Volibear buff, I'm pretty sure it's something to do with, like, the heal in your W, so this will be better for, like, lane Volibear, I guess, in the top lane, but he's really bad at the moment just because he's got, like, 2 builds. A bit like Diana. Do you go jungle? Do you go mid? With Volibear, do you go AD? Do you go AP? Like, which one actually is it? So I'd like to see Riot maybe push Volibear towards a certain build or playstyle, if you will. I think that would make him a lot more viable. But yeah, Volibear is here as well. Then we have Xerath, guys, who's getting buffed. Now, I'm not sure if they're buffing Xerath in terms of mid or support. I'm actually surprised at this, though, because in both roles, he does pretty well. And I don't know if you guys can remember, but Xerath got his E buffed not so long ago, where it stuns you for a lot longer now, even if you just throw it, like right in front of you, right? So it actually stuns a lot longer, and that's been in the game for ages. And I don't really know why he's getting buffed. Like, yes, it's an engaged meta, and it's dangerous to pick a Xerath, especially blind picking when you have Pyke, Nautilus, Blitzcrank roaming around right for fun. So you have to be careful, but in the mid lane as well, he's still doing really well. So again, I'm surprised they did this. Also, Lost Chapter being 1100 gold was a big buff to Xerath. So yeah, a little bit surprising here he's getting buffed. I'm keen to see what that's going to be. Maybe it's something to do with his passive, because it does feel kind of useless sometimes, or most of the time. Last champion here, guys, getting buffed is Zyra. So I'm guessing this is going to be for Zyra's support, but I remember even playing, bit of a boomer moment here, but I remember playing Zyra back in the day where you'd play a mid lane, right? Your Q was like a circle, it wasn't actually like in a kind of horizontal line, if you will. And she was actually like a really good mid laner. Now, though, she's kind of just played as a support. So again, I don't know what the buffs are going to be. Are they going to be something with like your snare duration, which should be more like support oriented? Are they going to be something to do with maybe like your AP ratio, which would be like a mid lane Zyra buff? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, of course. But I'm kind of excited for these, especially if they push Zyra back to the mid lane. That would be awesome. Now, champion nerfs, here we go. We have 9 of these. First of all, we have Hecarim. So, unlucky Dante's, he's going back down to Master. Then we have Jax. So, finally, guys, I actually can't believe this. Jax is getting nerfed. But, bro, I've talked about it that much. Like, in every top lane, I don't know, video or top champions countdown we've done, Jax has always been here, man. Finally, he's getting nerfed. And I'm not saying that because, you know, I want you Jax players to lose Elo. I'm saying that because, man, it would be nice to see a bit of variety in the top lane, you know? He's picked so much, banned so much, and has really good win rates in every single Elo. Then we have Karthus. Now, Karthus here, guys, I think he's going to get nerfed for bot lane to try to take him out of it. So whether they increase, like, his jungle, you know, monster damage or something like this, but that would actually be really broken because he clears so quick anyway. But yeah, we'll have to see what this is, right? Lost Chapter getting buffed. We also have, like, bot lane meta just being very kind of close range centric at the moment. It's amazing for Karthus, and I've mentioned in recent videos how OP he is. Now, unfortunately here, I don't actually agree with this next nerf. This is for Kindred. Kindred is OP at the moment, guys, because of Trinity Force. And Trinity Force, kind of like I hinted at the start of this video, is actually getting changed, right? Or kind of nerfed, I think, for ranged champions. So Kindred getting nerfed herself as well. There's a direct and an indirect nerf here. So if you're a Kindred main out there, let me know down below in the comment section how annoyed you are about being on the nerf list. Now moving down to the bot lane here, guys, we have 2 champions here, 2 supports who are getting nerfed. And one of these, I don't know why they're getting nerfed again. So this is Milio. Yes, Milio might be one of the best enchanters at the moment, but to be honest, I don't really know what justifies this. I think there are other supports out there who are a lot better. For example, something like Rakan, who can just be picked. Like, Milio actually has hard counters, Rakan really doesn't, so when he is OP, it makes him even more OP. So Milio getting nerfed, I don't really understand this. I don't think he was breaking the game, but hey, that's what the balance team think. But one champion who was definitely breaking the game, that's Rel. And Rel is finally getting nerfed. So I'm guessing, guys, they're going to do something to our actual CC durations, so the amount of time you're knocked up for or stunned for, whether it be through like her E or magnetized through her Magnet Storm, of course, her ultimate. So we'll have to see again until tomorrow what these changes are. But Rel getting nerfed, this has got to be one of the most undisputable changes or listed changes here, right? Then we have Rengar getting nerfed as well. Man, I've actually called like lots of these out in recent videos saying some of these champions need to get nerfed. Rengar is getting nerfed just because he's so innately broken, I think, as a champion, whether you're playing him in the jungle or even in the top lane. He's just way too good, especially with how good Duskblade is since the changes. He has been one of the premier junglers all season and nothing has changed. But finally, it's going to in 13-14. Now, I mentioned Kindred earlier, guys, right? How Trinity Force is getting nerfed. Well, Rek'Sai is getting nerfed again. The reason Rek'Sai is OP, yes, there were 13-11 buffs to the champion, but it's really Stride Breaker, right? Giving you 60 attack damage. Until they nerf that, like, Rek'Sai is probably still going to be an issue. So if they decide to nerf her, like, base damage again or some sort of early game damage to her, I don't think it's going to change too much. Yes, you might not get as many kills, but as long as you get to Stride Breaker, man, like, you can still one-shot anyone, even if you're not like 10-0, even like 2-0. That's obviously me exaggerating, but seriously, like, you don't actually need that many kills early game. Just get to Stride Breaker and you will dominate. So we'll have to see what the nerfs are going to be, right? Last champion, guys, getting nerfed here. This is Sion. Sion's getting nerfed because don't know why. He's just getting nerfed. And there are 2 champion adjustments in 13-14, guys. First of all, we have Neferi, who's getting released. The dog is getting unleashed, bro. And then we also have Yorick, who's getting adjusted. So are they actually going to give you a bit more skill expression back by reverting the E nerf a few patches ago? We'll have to wait and see, of course. The moral of the video. System buffs, guys. These are items and runes or whatever. First of all, we have Axiom Mark getting buffed. The lethality item. This is kind of cool because, you know, Axiom is really good if you're snowballing super hard. Might be good on a champion like Nocturne or something like this, right? Gets your ultimate off a bit more. So yeah, if they're going to buff the damage or maybe lethality in this, I'm all for it. Then we have jungle treats that are getting buffed as well. So putting a bit more power back in the old jungle treats you get. Prowler's Core is also getting buffed. Will this be lethality? Will this be maybe like the passive, which feels a little bit underwhelming on this item? Then we have Randuin's Omen. So, you know, the anti-crit kind of tank item. This getting buffed. We'll have to see what it is, but I'm not against this. Then we have Spirit Shojin getting buffed. So even though Jax is getting nerfed, they still have to buff one of his items. Well, I mean, Spirit Shojin isn't core on Jax, but you can definitely go it, especially if you're snowballing, right? And there will be other champions interested in this. So I'm still down for this. Also, Hecarim mains might be happy about this as well, depending on what the buff actually is, though, of course. Then we have Spirit Visage. This is getting buffed. And then we have Sterex Gauge that's getting buffed as well. I swear that item has not been good for like seasons. So yeah, hopefully this will actually be built a little bit more in 13-14. Now, the only thing that's getting nerfed, guys, list here, as far as items go, that's Gale Force. Another nerf. Holy, can they just get it right like one time so we don't have to read out like 3 Gale Force nerfs in a row? But that's the only nerf, guys, that's listed here. Now, as far as adjustments go, there are 6. First of all, we have blue buff. This is getting adjusted. So last patch, they did something where like it benefits you more in the late game to get a blue buff. So yeah, like early game junglers, of course, you're going to get it at level 1 probably, or level 2, 3, or whatever, right on your first clear. And then around level 6 as well. So around the 7-minute mark, you'll probably get the next one. And then your mid lane are getting it after that. It makes it a bit more beneficial. So I'm interested to see what they're actually going to change here. Then we also have Ghost. And I'm pretty sure the Ghost changes, all they're doing is making it 15 seconds, not 10 seconds, but they're getting rid of the actual refund on the takedowns, right? So when you get kills and assists, you're no longer going to be able to add a couple of seconds to the Ghost duration. That's an important change, and that will affect AD carries for the most part because lots of these abuse this. But I actually think it'll be really good for top laners during laning phase. So champions like Darius, Olaf, Fiora against ranged champions, right? There are a bunch of top laners who will be interested in having a 15-second Ghost. Longer to chase, of course, because it's top lane. So that could be really powerful. Actually, like also buffs split pushes in a way. Then we have Infinity Edge. Now, are they going to buff the crit even more in this? Because that's what they did recently, and, you know, take out a bit more attack damage. I'd be for that, to be honest, because I would want to build Infinity Edge if I'm going crit, right? So that'll be interesting. Then we also have red buff. So not only is blue buff getting adjusted, but we also have red buff as well. Then we have static shiv, and Riot have actually said that they really want to target LeBlanc with static shiv and some other champions, maybe like Kai'Sa, other AD carries even, who can really make use of this because of the wave clear, even the damage, right? It is a bit too much still, especially at higher levels of play, because they know how to use these champions at the highest level, and LeBlanc and Kai'Sa, they are difficult to play as well as possible. Now, the last adjustment here, guys, which might define the patch, this is Trinity Force, and finally, they are going to add some sort of range cap on this. Thank goodness for that. It took them that long to come around to this, but they still have Kindred in the nerf list. So I think 13-14, it looks okay. Like some of the changes here, like I definitely agree with some of the champions getting buffed and champions getting nerfed, right? But those are the obvious ones. There are still some where you're just like kind of left head scratching, but for the most part, man, looks all right. And in tomorrow's video, of course, we will detail and reveal what the full changes will be for patch 13-14. So you'll actually have a bit more substance rather than just knowing who or what is getting changed in terms of items and other stuff in the game. Guys, this has been Coach Jigs. Thanks so much for watching the video. If you did enjoy it, please remember to leave a like down below. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss tomorrow's video, and I'll see you then. Peace.